What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today's video is just going to be me going over all of the important things from the Season 4 patch notes. But first, I want to talk to you guys about MetaGen, so we're going to go over that right now. Alright, so MetaGen. If you guys don't know what this is something that I've been working on behind the scenes for probably like 4 or 5 months at this point. Basically, it is a tool that algorithmically looks at all of the possible attachment combinations and uses complicated optimization to try to find the actual best possible loadouts for you guys to use, and it's user customizable. So let's run through this, and I want to show you how it actually works. It's not quite finished yet, but it's getting very close. We're hoping to launch within maybe like a couple weeks into Season 4. It's just proven to be ridiculously complex. Like, compared to everything I've ever done, this basically takes every single programmatic thing I've ever done and brings it into one place, and I added a bunch to it. And it's very, very tricky to get this all working correctly. So that's why it's not out yet. I know I've been teasing this for over a month at this point. It's just I keep thinking it's close, and then I catch something that seems off, and I go in and make revisions. But anyway, this is what it currently looks like. So there's an instruction page that'll go through how it's going to work. This is all subject to change. This is going to be very beta. So one thing I want to mention here is that there are going to be run limits. So if you're a bronze level subscriber to TGD, you're going to get 15 total runs with 1 regenerative run per day. So every day you'll get 1 extra run forever, basically, but it'll never go over 15. If you're silver level, you'll get 30 to use right off the bat, and then you get 2 per day extra. Gold level gets 45 and 3 per day. That's all probably going to be increased. The reason we're doing that to start with is because this is such a process-intensive task that I had to offload it to AWS Lambda, which is a serverless computing service run by AWS, and it does all the calculations there and then sends it back. And because this takes so much processing time, I think it could end up being really expensive with a lot of people using this. So we just wanted to cap it to start with to see how it's going to go. We'll probably change that as it goes. So just want to show you how this works. So let's go to the builder. So this is the page where you're going to actually start selecting how you want to run this. So we're going to do a close range SMG. We're probably only going to launch with close range SMG and long range automatic as the 2 to start with. You can select your squad size. You can select if you want to force the weapon to be suppressed. So some people just like to run suppressed weapons, so they're not as as loud out there. In the past, suppressors were more important because they kept you out the minimap. That's not the case anymore. Then for close range SMG, you can select whether or not you want to leave the 5th slot open for an optic or not. You can't do that for long range automatic because everyone uses optics on long range automatic. And also, if I added that, it would be, if I let you do 5 attachments on long range automatic, it would be ridiculously long calculation time. So nobody wants that. So you can also restrict the laser visibility. So you can say that I don't care if laser is visible at all. I want the laser to be visible when you're hip fire, but not when you're ADS'd. Or visible when you're ADS but not in hipfire. And then also the third option, or the fourth option, is no visible lasers, period. Then down here for customization, you can just use my default setup. So MetaGen is built off of what I believe is the meta to start with. So it'll be just, if you select that, it'll just do the base level calculations of what I currently have it set up to calculate for the meta. But if you want to adjust the stat importance, this is the really cool part about it, is adjusting the stat importance for how you play. So if you are someone that likes to have really low recoil more so than my default calculations, you can adjust for that. So I'll show you that here. So we'll do, I'm just going to name this test. This is not live yet. This is a private environment here. But down here, you'll see all the different sliders for weightings, and you can save your weightings from your profile. You'll have the option to have defaults. Basically, you can have a default for every single one of these options. So close range, long range, and sniper support eventually. Like I said, we'll probably not launch with sniper support. But solo, duo, trio, quad, you'll have custom weightings for all of those that you can save to your profile. So default values, it just starts with the sliders in the middle. This is all probably going to look a little bit different when it actually launches, but we're getting pretty close. So I'll just run one without doing anything here. So find my meta with all these default values. It'll take you to this other page. And you can see right here the status of the calculations. Close range doesn't take very long. But long range can take up to like 2 minutes to fully calculate all the weapons. And then obviously this is all a mess, but this is for the previous season, so don't think this is for Season 4. This is a previous season meta where I got the calculations to, so it'll show you the attachments on the right. There will also be a button to add that to your comparison eventually. It's not on there yet. You've got the score for the weapon. It sorts them automatically, so according to MetaGen, after all the work I did over the last few months, the Lockman sub and the Vel 46 were the top 2 weapons, with the Lockman sub coming out on top. You can open this to see all the builds for the Lockman sub. So it just shows the top 20. I might update that to be like the top 50 builds for the Lockman sub. And you can do that for any of the weapons. So again, all of the front end is going to change on this, but I just wanted to show you guys how it works. So if we go back to the builder, let's swap over and say, well, I think that ADS movement speed is way more important than Anthony thinks it is. So I'm going to make that way more important. Let's say that I think tack sprint speed. So basically, let's just make this like a movement calculation. So if I up all of those weightings to be more important for all the movement speed statistics, and then I click run again, it'll come out slightly different. The Lockman sub will probably still be the best, but it will shift everything around and kind of give you slightly different results. And I'm going to increase the strength of those weightings eventually. Right now, they're just kind of, it's like a 1.3 multiplier or a 0.7 multiplier at minimum and maximum. So I'll probably make that a little stronger. We're still working with the user weights. Like I said, it's not done yet, but it's getting close. So you'll see some of these scores change a little bit, and attachments would change up a little bit based on how those weightings work. But I really think this is going to be a game-changing tool if I can pull it off, because you'll be able to have custom setup for yourself. You can just come on here as soon as the data is updated on TGD. You can just press run, and it'll spit out your meta. That's been like the whole like idea of TGD nowadays, is the find your meta rather than find what somebody else made a YouTube video about. You can calculate what the meta is for how you play. All right, so for this patch notes video, I'm mostly going to focus on weapons and also like gameplay changes that are going to be important. So for new weapons, we've got the Tempest Razorback. This is a new assault rifle. I've seen this being used. A few creators got flown out to LA to try Season 4 early and to play Vondel, the new map. Vondel, I don't know. But they got to play the new map early. They all used the Razorback. It looks decent. So I'll hop in today and get everything tested for that and get it up on TGD so you guys can see the statistics. Yeah, it looks decent. I can't say much else than that until I actually test it. We've also got the ISO 45. This is a new submachine gun, so it just looks like the ISO from Warzone 1, basically. Again, I'll get that tested today and get it live. Interesting change to how these shotguns function now. So pellets now use damage priority. So if more than 4 pellets hit a target, so usually it's like capped at 4 pellets of damage is the max damage a shotgun can do. Then the highest damage among those pellets will be used. So like if a few of those pellets hit the head and like 8 of them hit the body, 2 of them hit the head, it will pick 2 headshots and then 2 body shots instead of using, I don't know what it did before, but now apparently it's going to use the highest damage that hits, which makes sense to me. All right, on to weapon balancing. Obviously, this is the big stuff for me. Cronin Squall, it says that full auto bullets to kill was increased by 2. So that is, I don't know if that's saying like on the previous HP or the new HP. I'm guessing it's on the new HP. So if you didn't know, Season 4 introduced 150 health, which is awesome because in this game, the TTK was so fast that it felt like the vast majority of the time you just couldn't even react when you got shot, especially if it was up close and you didn't see the person inside like 40 meters. A lot of the time you couldn't even move before you would die, which is extremely frustrating for everyone involved. So hopefully with this increase of 50 HP base health, that will be resolved. So what it says up here, while a select few weapons are listed below, it's important to note that most weapons will see their effectiveness altered as a result of the change to armor damage. For now, we will be retiring the term armor damage, and any future changes that are Warzone specific will be followed by Warzone only. So that sounds like all the armor damage work that I've done over the last few months to get all of that accurate on TGD. It sounds like that's all potentially gone now, and we're gonna have finally Warzone only damage profiles or damage caps or something. I'll have to go in and investigate all this, make sure it's all working the way they say it is, and then obviously I'll get that up on TGD. But honestly, the armor damage stuff was just annoying for me, so I'm not upset about that if they removed it. I think that's just a good thing overall. It just made the calculations really complex and weird. So hopefully that has just been removed. So Cronin Squall overall got a nerf. There's maximum damage increased, minimum damage added. So those sound kind of like the same thing as the armor caps, but maybe they just act on your damage now. We'll have to check it out. I'm not positive, but yeah, the armor damage has been changed for sure. Semi-auto bullets to kill increased by 1, and then same thing. Maximum damage was decreased, and the minimum damage was increased. So it's going to be a little more effective at range and a little bit less effective in the first damage range with headshots probably. Shotguns, I'm not really going to cover shotguns, but looks like there was significant changes made to shotguns, and it's probably because a lot of these are like pump shotguns, so like semi-auto pump shotguns, and those probably would be really bad with 300 health if they didn't increase the damage somewhat. So that's probably why these have all been changed. KB broadside didn't get much change there, so that's probably good because that thing can be oppressive. Submachine guns, Fennec, bullets to kill decreased by 1. So the Fennec was basically useless with all the changes they had made to it. So I'd like to see that. I mean, it's not that it had its time in the light, but it should still be usable. And it's basically just awful in season 3.5 or season 3. So hopefully it's back to being usable in season 4. The FTAC Siege now has an akimbo option. So it now has the akimbo attachment to make it be 2 weapons. We'll see how that works. Hopefully it's got a big damage nerf. Otherwise it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be like Diamati's or the little shotgun pistols from Warzone 1. Those were crazy times. Cast Up 74U has a new barrel. So I'll have to look into that. Doesn't say anything about it here. Small change here, but this will be really nice. So there's different weapon raise times, like basically swapping weapons or different things like that can cause this weapon raise time to come into play. So off of a parachute, the weapon quick raise is now going to be used. So there's different times. So they're now using a quicker raise time. So when you land, you'll have more responsiveness to fire back at the enemy, which is really nice because it's so frustrating when you just can't shoot your weapon. Like that's to me is the most frustrating thing when you die because you just can't shoot. So hopefully that will alleviate that a little bit. All right, so obviously we've got the new map, Vondel. This is a map developed by Beanox, and like I said, a bunch of creators get to play this early, and to me, and what everyone's saying is this plays a lot more like Verdansk than other maps that we've had. They made conscious design decisions to have the gameplay just feel better, feel more smooth, feel more Verdansk-like on this map. So the one thing it does have is a lot of water canals, which I'm not psyched about because water just annoys me. It's just so frustrating when somebody can just dive under the water and disappear and run away from you. And conversely, I don't know, it just feels cheesy, the whole thing to me. The fact that you can only shoot pistols underwater and stuff like that. It's just, I don't really like water. But the rest of the map actually looks like it's great. So we'll have to see how that plays out. You can see all these different screenshots of it here. It looks gorgeous and it looks like it'll be really fun to play. One of the conscious design decisions they made with this was that there's no mid levels in buildings. So even though the buildings look like they're like 4 or 5 stories tall, none of the windows on the middle floors can be shot out of. So they're all just closed. You can either shoot from the roof or you can shoot from the bottom level, and that's it. So you don't have to worry about all the windows. And I think that is a fantastic design decision. I think that will make a huge difference. So on Al Mazrah, looks like there is no more sandstorm that's happening, and it says that some of the different buildings in Al Mazrah City actually have basically sand banks that you can like climb up on the buildings from now. So just some changes there. They also added vibrancy to vegetation throughout the map, so we'll see what that looks like. Hopefully it's a little more colorful, a little more lively. I already mentioned this when I was going through the weapon changes, but like I said, the base player health has increased up to 150 from 100. This is what we had at the end of Warzone 1 in Caldera, and it really made a difference in terms of time to kill. It basically adds like 2 shots to kill, usually 2 or 3 depending on the gun. Sometimes 1 if you're maybe in the first damage range, but it makes a big difference, surprisingly, even though it's only 50 health. So total health will be up to 300 now. That is on TGD, but again, the weapon changes aren't on TGD. So it's like, yeah, you can go look at it and see what 300 health looks like with Season 3 stats. But I need to get all the stats updated to Season 4 before you can really start seeing what the meta is. They also increased the regen delay of your health from 5 up to 7. I don't like that really, but they probably just did that to balance out the extra health. Quality of life for armor plates. You can now automatically pick up 9 armor plates. So it'll fill 3 in your active loadout slot and then 2 full stacks in your backpack automatically. That is a huge W. Always drove me crazy that it didn't do this automatically. Armor box will now give you 6 plates regardless of how many you already have. Another W. Little things like this make a big difference for how the game feels overall. So I'm glad that they're refocusing on quality of life stuff. Munitions box now give the player a fixed stack of weapon ammo. So it doesn't matter how much you have now, you'll get a fixed stack. Lethal and tactical equipment will only refill to the max rather than filling up your backpack. So that didn't change, but you do get a fixed stack of ammunition. I'm assuming it'll just maybe drop the rest if your backpack's full. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that works. Vehicle fuel, this is a small one, obviously, but it says gas cans can now drain a percentage of total gas while refueling a vehicle. Gas cans will now drain a percentage of total gas while refueling a vehicle. I'm not following that. I don't know if my brain's not working this morning or what, but I'm not following what that means. You can now siphon gas out of a vehicle using a gas can, so you can run around all Mazrah or Vondel and you can siphon all the gas out of the vehicles so nobody can drive anywhere. I find that pretty funny. Rather than catching fire when out of fuel, the heavy chopper will now just drop out of the air. It makes sense. Vehicles don't usually catch on fire when they run out of gas. This is another really big one here. They're finally adding the REJOIN feature. It is still in beta, so I expect it to be kind of buggy, but we'll see. Basically, if your game crashes, which is pretty common for a lot of people on PC, you can rejoin the match within 4 minutes if you try to come back to it. So the criteria for this are that the player must have at least one squad member remaining alive in the match. Obviously, it doesn't apply to solo playlists. And there also must be at least 5 squads remaining in the match. So that makes sense. You don't want to be able to hop back into the match right at the end when the match is ending. So looks like they have some known issues with it, but just a huge W, especially with ranked mode. People that are, grinding for top 250 keep getting disconnected and losing 200 SR in one game because they disconnected. Now they'll at least have a chance to get back in there if it works properly. So that's really, really a big W. So we've got this new vehicle. This is called the TAV, Tactical Amphibious Vehicle. Basically, it can go in land and water. So it'll be very versatile for both maps. I don't know if it's coming to Al Mazrah or not. I would assume it is, but it's on Vondel for sure. And then there's also this dynamic fog system, which is something I've preached forever. I think it'd be super cool if they started to implement variable weather and time of day into matches, just like sort of like Battlefield does. Having that in Warzone, I think, could really make for. And they always talk about telling stories with Warzone matches. Well, that would make every story unique. And if you had to have loadouts built for, if you got a match that was towards nighttime and it was starting to get darker, you had to take your lasers off because you didn't want people to see it. You had to add suppressors, things like that. I just think it'd be really cool if we had some variability in time of day, had some variability in weather. Maybe sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's perfectly clear, sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's foggy. They are introducing a dynamic fog system into Vondel, which I think is super exciting. That means they are thinking about that, and maybe they're reading my tweets. Who knows? But I just think this will be really cool. Fog, meh, it's not super exciting to me. I think rain would be really cool. Thunderstorms, time of day, those kind of things would be a little cooler to me. But at least they're doing something, dynamic fog system, to make the matches a little bit different from match to match. There's also going to be resurgence modes. High stakes is a new public event. During this event, players will be prompted to capture any of several crates that are dropped from the sky. Capturing one of these will provide players with some useful loot, such as a portable buy station, armor, and/or munitions box alongside cash. And also, a successful capture will grant players with double weapon XP and player XP for the duration of the match. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So you can get double XP just from doing this in-game event. And it stacks with XP tokens. So if you do this, your weapons will level ridiculously fast. So that's probably gonna be the new fastest way to level a weapon. That's crazy. Reinforcement flare, new field upgrade. This field upgrade will deploy an eliminated squad member that is randomly selected. So if you get one of these, and you have multiple teammates that are dead, if you pop it, it will respawn one of them randomly. You don't know which one. So that's just a new way to get back in the match. Favorite supply box, a new supply box type. This is a rare supply box that arms players with their 2 favorite weapons. Interesting. So it's just a little weapon crate that has your top 2 weapons from your loadouts. All right, armor box. So armor box price was increased to 2,500, up from 2,000. Same with the muni box. Backpack inventory. While attempting to loot an item that a player already has an active loadout slot, they'll be presented with the option to stow the duplicate in their backpack. Okay, that's nice for sure. I'm assuming that's not for weapons. I think they don't want people to have 3 weapons. I thought kind of cool that you can have 3 weapons if you plan for it. Have an SMG, an AR, and a sniper. I thought that was neat, but also it was a lot to deal with, so I understand why they wouldn't want that in the game. Marker smoke effects differentiated the color from smoke from various markers. So loadout drops are red, deployable buy stations are green, and smoke grenades are gray. I thought they were already like that, but I guess not. Resupply perk, time to recharge equipment has been increased to 50 seconds, up from 30. Redeploy drone destruction damage. The explosive damage caused by a redeployed drone when it impacts the ground has been adjusted. The minimum damage increased to 50, up from 10. Maximum damage increased to 150, up from 50. So if somebody shoots a resupply or redeploy drone down and it lands on you, I guess it's going to do a bunch more damage now. So that'll be fun. Just randomly getting squashed by a redeployed drone that's falling. Bounty contract quality of life. The bounty contract will prioritize selecting a target that is on the ground and within close proximity of the player. I'm surprised it didn't already do that, because it definitely did that in Warzone 1. Most wanted contract quality of life. Most wanted target player will now carry a flag on their operator for the duration of the contract to help enemy players track the target. Interesting. So you're just going to have a little flag on you, I guess, so people will see you and know who the most wanted is. Data Heist public event. Players will now receive a circle peak reward of the upcoming circle when they complete the Data Heist public event on Ashika Island. Makes sense. Gas circle finale behavior. The number of moving circles in the final phase of the match has been decreased to 2, down from 4. These circles will move and collapse in size slower than before. So there used to be 4 circles that would move around at the end of a match. Now it'll only do that twice, and they collapse in size slower than before at the end. Gulag, the time to capture the overtime flag has been increased to 4 seconds, up from 3 seconds. That's a good change. 3 seconds felt like it just felt ridiculously fast. Felt too fast. Vehicle fuel. Heavy chopper no longer catches fire when it runs out of fuel. Instead, it will now drop out of the air. I already covered that. Gas cans now spawn with a fill percentage of 100%. Filling a vehicle now drains a portion of the total gas in the can, depending on how much the vehicle needed. Yeah, okay, so that's what that line earlier meant. I was just confusingly worded in the first instance of it. So basically, you're just removing X percentage of gas from the gas can and you fill up a vehicle, which makes sense. And you can siphon, like I said earlier, which is hilarious. Just suck all the gas out of all the vehicles so nobody can use them. Gas damage. Reduced gas damage to 6 while not wearing a gas mask, down from 9. So gas doesn't hurt quite as much anymore. During the first 4 circles, reduced gas damage while wearing a gas mask, down to 5, down from 6. Reduced gas damage while wearing a gas mask to 5, down from 6. Why would you take gas damage while wearing a gas mask? Reduced gas damage while wearing a gas mask. You don't take gas damage while you're wearing a gas mask. I don't know what that means. All right, we'll figure it out. Armor plates. The number of armor plates that the players spawn with in the gulag has been decreased to 1, down from 2. So that's gonna be the same amount of total health as it was before. So 1 armor plate, you're gonna have 200 health in the gulag. Players will continue to spawn with 3 full armor plates in Warzone ranked play. So maybe that's 3 armor plates in gulag. So you're gonna have 300 health in gulag in Warzone ranked. It sounds like. Gulag overtime. The time it takes to capture the domination point in gulag has been increased to 4 seconds, up from 3. Strongholds. Inactive strongholds have been renamed to abandoned supply caches. Active strongholds and abandoned supply caches are now enabled from the moment the match starts. So that's a big change. Strongholds no longer spawn in at some point and open up. They're going to be just there at the start of the match, so you can dive on it and try to get your loadout right away if you want. But obviously a bunch of people are going to do that, so it'll be really, really hot drops at all these strongholds. Active strongholds and abandoned supply caches now have floating point of interest indicators that can be seen from above the world space during infill. Okay. White supply boxes have been removed from active strongholds. There's no more of those, like, white supply boxes had a ton of money and kill streaks in them. Those have been removed from active strongholds. They're putting the focus of strongholds back on loadout acquisition and UAV benefits. Enemy NPC combatants have been removed from strongholds, so this is another huge change. There's no more AI in strongholds. There are still AI in the black site, I believe, but not in the strongholds. So there will be capture objectives, things like that, but there's no more AI there to distract you and annoy you like there was before. So W devs. We love that. The bomb defuse objective has been removed from active strongholds, so you won't ever get that one anymore. Completing an active stronghold will only reward the black site key upon first capture. So the first squad that gets to the stronghold and captures it will get the black site key, but people that come to it after that and capture it. So that's another thing that changes. You can capture the stronghold over and over. So it's not like it gets closed and you can't get loadout from it if somebody else has hit it. If that team gets their loadout and they rotate out, you will now be able to go to that same stronghold and get your loadout as well. You just have to capture it just like they did, but you won't get the black site key, which I think makes sense. And it says that right here. They should have put this point first, but that's the same thing I just said. Players can capture it after the fact. Subsequent captures will only reward players with access to custom loadout crate and the Stronghold UAV effect. The UAV effect from completing a stronghold will now be shown to enemy players on the attack map. Interesting. So they can see that they are on the UAV now on the mini map. One thing that's not clear is that if every team that captures it gets the same UAV, or if only like the most recent capture gets the UAV. I would assume the way they're talking about it that everyone that captures it gets the UAV on that stronghold, but we'll have to see in game. The mission tracker widget on the UI while progressing through the stronghold and black site completion has been removed for a cleaner interface. All right, on to Warzone ranked changes. So this came out season 3 as a beta. I'm sure they're still calling it a beta in season 4. They're making tweaks to the SR and how it works. So deployment fee update. The updated max fee for an iridescent player that's getting close to top 250 has been increased from negative 210 up to negative 230 to enter the match. So that's just something they noticed with all their data that it maybe wasn't matching up with how they wanted it to for getting into top 250. End of season skill update for the setback amount. So you will bronze through Crimson 1 players are set back 3 tiers where they finished the previous season. So a player that's gold 3 will end up silver 3. So you're just knocked back exactly 1 full rank basically. But players Crimson 2 and above will always start in Diamond 1. So if you're top 250, you're starting Diamond 1. If you're Crimson 2, Diamond 1. It doesn't matter. Anyone above Crimson 2 will be set back to Diamond 1. Season 4 rewards. Placement challenges. Finish top 15 25 times. You get a decal. Finish top 5 25 times. Get a pro issue Lockman sub blueprint. You missed an N here, patch notes person. Finish first place, team wipe weapon charm. So just some little rewards there for placement finishes. Kill and assist challenges, 25 kills or assists to get the Warzone Season 4 competitor sticker. 250 kills or assists, Warzone ranked play Season 4 loading screen. And then 1,000 kills or assists, Warzone Season 4 ranked veteran camo. End of season division rewards. So at the end of the season, you get rewarded for your highest attained division during that season. The season 4 rewards are as followed. Top 250, you get a top 250 weapon charm, emblem and calling card. Iridescent, same thing. Crimson, diamond, platinum, all the same thing. Silver and bronze, you just get an emblem, so you get your little participation emblem. Ranked play first place. The player who finishes season 4 in the number 1 position on the top 250 leaderboard will receive a unique one-of-a-kind calling card and emblem for the ultimate bragging rights. I think that's awesome. I love stuff like that. Reward people who are putting everything they have into this game. Get them something that no one else has and no one else can get access to. So that's really cool. I'll probably get that because I'm really good and I play this game a lot. So that's probably going to be me. All right, guys, I think that covers pretty much all the important stuff from the patch notes. Huge update. The fact that they actually finally did the 50 health is going to be awesome for ranked play. It's going to be awesome for the whole game. People that went to the early playtest said that it made the game feel completely different. As always, if you guys like my content and you appreciate the work that I put into developing true game data, testing things, building all of the features on the website, the best way to support is a premium subscription through TGD. $5 a month, you get access to everything. The other tiers are just if you want to support more. And if you like the YouTube content, be sure to like, subscribe to see more. Really excited for MetaGen. I think it's going to change the game completely for people that use it. So hopefully we'll get that out soon. But like I said, it's just a ridiculously complicated tool that I'm building. So that's the reason there's been so many delays and it's still not quite ready. We should be getting the front end spruced up and ready to go pretty soon. And then hopefully we can launch relatively soon in the next few weeks, but we'll see. But as always, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for supporting TGD, supporting me. And I will see you in this video.